This is a 2019 Yamaha R3, and from the factory it's an agile, comfortable, super reliable, well set up sports bike. Some people take these to the track and get some really impressive lean angles. Some people commute on them, and others, like myself, just cruise around my city in summer having a good time instead of taking my car. I only have enough garage space for one motorbike, and I've been really wanting to get an adventure bike. Something like the BMW GS Adventure Series. The GS is more comfortable, has longer fuel range, and can carry more stuff. I was seriously considering selling this bike and buying a GS, but it dawned on me that I can just modify my R3. So I'm going to turn my R3 into an adventure bike, and hopefully by the end of the video I'll have a mini touring bike. The R3 does have advantages over the GS. It's much lighter weight, which is better for both off-roading and city riding. It gets better fuel consumption. Last summer I bought a Yamaha Zuma 125, and the R3 actually gets the same fuel consumption as that. The bike has quite an upright seating position, which is great for longer rides. Before modifying any vehicle, you need to make sure it's serviced properly, and that's what I'm going to do now. This bike needs some love. I live in a really dry climate, so it's easy to neglect chain maintenance. With sealed chains these days, they take almost no maintenance, but a quick wipe down and a coating in light oil to stop them rusting goes a long way. I'm going to go over the bike, carefully looking through all of the plastics and checking all the bolts, seeing if there's any issues that might become a problem on a road trip. I've got some soap spray and I'm going to wipe down and clean the whole bike. Because I'm going to be using the bike for touring, I'm going to increase the tyre pressures to the maximum recommended to get better tyre life. The bike says I still have 3,400k on this oil change, but having a look at the sight glass here, it's looking pretty dirty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out the oil. One of the super convenient things about this bike is the oil drain plug is right there, and the oil filter is right above it there. So doing an oil change, you don't need to start removing body panels and such. You can just loosen it off. I got the new filter swapped over, which you can see there, and the last of the oil is just draining. I also gave it a good cleanup under there, and I coated this with another coat of high temp paint, because when you're driving in the rain it just hoses this whole area down with road water. So it's looking a lot cleaner under there. And while it's finishing draining, I'm going to chuck these on. So this is a little throttle lock clip. It's basically like a cruise control, which is kind of cool. I've got these foam grips on too, which are pretty nice. They reduce vibration. So hopefully these fit with the foam grips. And then, so yeah, this already has a slightly bigger windshield. Very nice. But this is a windshield extender, so it should bring it out. So it's already come up from about here to here. This is going to bring it up to like here. So that will give me loads of wind protection when riding along. So yeah, let's get those on. I got the throttle lock on and it works really good. So basically you open the throttle, close this, and then you let it rest against the brake lever, and now the throttle is at like 20% or something. And then once you want to slow down, you just manually slide it forwards. I've got the wind deflector installed and it looks pretty stealthy. Apart from the legs, the actual deflector itself is almost invisible, which is quite nice. So it kind of keeps a little bit of the sports bike look. And when I go and sit on the bike, I have to make sure not to dip my foot in the old oil. Yeah, wow, look at that. So this will probably come up just about the bottom of my chin, I suspect, when I'm holding the bars. So that's nice. So that will stop wind getting under the chin of my helmet, which will make it much nicer for highway cruising. When it comes to luggage, in the past I've just used backpacks and bungees and bungeed stuff to the back seat using the pillion pegs as an anchor point. But I have a tank bag, which I've used in the past, but it won't work on this bike due to the plastic tank cover on this, and it's a magnetic mount. So I've got these soft luggage side bags, and I'll put them on right now, and we'll see how the bike looks. So here they are on the bike. It's starting to look a little bit like a touring bike, a lot less sporty now. The only downside is I have these aftermarket turn signals. They bolt into these license plate light bolts, but I can angle these like pretty much straight down if I want. And I have some thick gauge wire that I could also put in behind the plate and use it to kind of push out on the bags a bit. I also realized my tank bag, it can also be used as a pillion seat bag. So I'm going to put that on right now and see how it looks. So this is looking a bit funny now. So here is the bike with that tank bag in the pillion kind of bag position. It has an accordion style, so you can unzip it and you get probably double the extra storage space. But yeah, it's looking quite good, honestly. The only downside is if I don't have this bag, then I can have my tent just going sideways across and my sleeping bag behind it and maybe a roll mat. So if I just, this is just balancing, I would strap it down. But yeah, so if I take that off, I could have tent, sleeping bag, and roll mat for sleeping. Whereas with this on, I guess I could potentially like load it on top of the sides, or I don't think I'd want to put it on top of it. It's already getting up there in height. It's not a pickup truck. Maybe the side-by-side thing would work. So tent on one side, sleeping bag on the other. But yeah, do I even need all this space? Like, these side bags are huge. And I'd have two of them, and the top one. I definitely would not need to bring a backpack. I'll have a think about it, and yeah, I'll check back in 10 minutes. So my side markers, left and right, I've angled them down quite a lot. And I think I will not put the wire across to kind of push these out, because I feel like if the wire is constantly rubbing on this material, so it'd be a wire out, then it would be at a 90. If the wire is rubbing on this for hundreds of miles with a vibration, it might wear a hole in the bag, which I do not want to do. I put some tape, as you can see, some masking tape on the plastics to protect the fairings, and these straps will go underneath the seat, so that's good. In fact, I think I'm going to have to put some more tape just down here. I ran out of white masking tape, so I had to use blue, but it's okay, it doesn't look too bad, and this is a touring bike after all. But I did something else, which I didn't film. So obviously you have the trunk in here, and then I took this seat off, and I hooked this wire up to the battery. It's my insurance paperwork. And in this tiny little trunk, you can't hold much, but I have wired in a super primitive like cigarette lighter socket, and as you can see, it's on. So that is super handy. The bike is off right now, so I don't want to have this on, otherwise it would just drain power. But if I need to charge my phone or any other electronics while riding, I can now do that. I can just run a USB cable out of here, like out of the side of the seat and into the bag that has my phone or power bank or whatever else. So if I'm camping and I don't have power for a few days, yeah, this should really save me. So here is the bike all buttoned up. I did the brake fluid and coolant at the start of the season, so they are still really good. There's 4 months on them, so that's not a problem at all. Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. It definitely looks a lot different to a normal R3. The question is, did I ruin it? We'll have to see, I guess. It's got an empty tank of fuel right now, so I'll go and fill it up, and then I'll go and pick somewhere to go exploring and test it out. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see me take this bike on some multi-day road trips, be sure to subscribe.